Good evening and welcome to Animazing Radio here on YouTube. I'm your host, Doug Engler. Joining me in the co-host seat, as always, is our good friend, Mr. Darren Starling.
Good evening. I actually have my camera turned on for once.
And we are excited tonight. We have amazing guests joining us. But before we introduce them, we want to remind everybody that Animazing Radio is brought to you tonight by HomecircleMedia.com for the latest and greatest in anime gear. Everything from pens, pencils, stationery, and officially licensed art books. Be sure to check out HomecircleMedia.com today or look for them at an upcoming convention near you. We're also brought to you by Casey Fox. For all of your artwork, cosplay, and commission needs, be sure to check out KAYCIFOXX on Facebook and Instagram. We're also brought to you by Darren.
Yes, if you live in the Raleigh Triangle area down in North Carolina and need lawn care or landscaping, give me a call.
And, of course, if you're new to the show and you enjoy the show tonight, hit that subscribe button. We're trying to hit 200 subscribers by the end of the year. Once we hit that mark, we are going to be doing a giveaway where one lucky subscriber gets to sit in the guest co-host seat where Christy is tonight for a future voice actor interview. We love bringing people on to talk with the voice actors. It's a lot of fun to connect people with their fans, and we love giving back to the community. So help us do that. If you want to be a part of it, make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit the like button. It really helps out the channel, helps us grow. And, we really appreciate everybody who tunes in. Of course, tonight in the guest co-host seat, as I mentioned, we have the amazing Christy Rothrock.
Hello. And I appreciate you with the prefix to that. Thank you.
I am a huge fan of yours, as I told you for a Dragon Maid special we did last month, that I really like a lot of your work. And the more that I've looked into the work that you've done, it's like, oh my God, I love this character. And oh my God, she's coming out. Then inside the inner fanboy happens.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
And we are really excited. Our guest of honor tonight is somebody that Christy actually directed our attention to when we were talking about, let us know the future guests you want us to get on the show. Amazingly talented cosplayer. The work that he does is unbelievable. You've got to check out his Instagram. I had it up here somewhere. It is Kittum Cos. So at Kittum Cos, KITTUMCOS, to check out the work that they do. Also, you have a TikTok as well. Please welcome Kit from Kittum Cosplay to the show.
Hello. I'm really happy to be here.
And your work is absolutely amazing. Like I said before we went live, I was showing off a lot of the work on your Instagram page to my wife. And in fact, I have it pulled up on another tab, so I can just bring up so people can see the work that you do.
I love just the little unique touches you put on everything. It's so nice.
Yeah, I was actually super inspired by this artist who drew Stampton. He's a character from Deltarune, with the exposed chest, because I did both versions, the in-game version and then himbo version, I guess.
Yeah.
And it's so funny how starkly different they are, and it's cool to put your own spin on things in that way, and I had a lot of fun with that.
That's interesting.
For our listeners out there who may not know of your work, tell everybody a little bit about yourself and how you got started in the world of cosplay and makeup.
Sure. I live on the East Coast. I have been doing this for about 7 years. Loved every second of it. I got started by seeing groups on DeviantArt, which I don't know if people even use that anymore. It's really old. But I actually started cosplaying from seeing the character Axel from Kingdom Hearts. He's my all-time favorite. I just wanted to be him. I saw him on screen when I was playing Kingdom Hearts at a younger age, and I was like, oh my God. And I didn't even know what cosplay was. I didn't know it was possible to be your favorite character. And when I saw people doing that, I was amazed, and I wanted to be one of those people. And then I found out about conventions at the same time, and I just thought it was incredible and almost to the point that it wasn't possible that people could just be whoever they wanted to be all together, at the same time, in the same place. It was just amazing. So that was my first ever cosplay about 7-8 years ago, and I've just been doing it ever since.
That's awesome. So as how many characters would you say, if you could like number it, how many characters have you cosplayed? And I guess going off of that, do you have several that you've kind of just like put away and you're like, all right, I'm not gonna like do this anymore unless I decide to like bring it back later, or if I do, I need to like totally revamp it. So how many characters do you have like ready to go right now, I guess, versus like how many have you done total?
Okay, are we counting like random cos tests that I did on a whim with like stuff in my closet, or
I mean, if you want to, I'll leave that up to you, because they count as much as you feel like they should count. So, you know.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll let you put what counts to you there.
Sure, I'm gonna say maybe like over 100. Honestly,
that's amazing.
I have no self-control. If I see a character that I'm like really into, I'm just like, well, I'm just gonna pause this and I'm gonna go straight to the bathroom, put on the makeup, and do it.
I love that. Oh my gosh, that's so cool.
It's like, lately I've been really burnt out, but I can talk about that later. But yeah, usually that's how it goes.
That's cool that you get such like quick inspiration like that. That's phenomenal. Yeah, and that you're able to like just go and like, all right, yes, now I get to like do the makeup for this.
Yeah, it really depends on either like how they look, if they have like a really interesting design, and if I have the stuff available, because I don't like purchasing things for on the spot stuff. I like working with my resources. Or if it's like a personality I relate to, then I'm like, okay. But if it's a personality I relate to, usually they stick around for a while, because that's like the most important thing for me. They need to like, I don't know, I kind of need to vibe with their personality first.
I feel that. I really love the game Hades, and I like. Oh, man, it's such a freaking good game. Oh my god, it's so freaking good. I have like 205 hours on that game, and I'm still getting like new dialogue. Yeah, I play it a lot. I'm still getting new dialogue though.
Really?
Yeah, it's just a really like well-written game. But no, I did like closet looks kind of inspired by some of the characters a while back, so I can sort of relate just for that particular moment.
Mm-hmm.
But like no, my friend, he's super into Hades, and he like throws like costume parties and stuff, and he's like, I'm thinking I'm throwing a Hades themed costume party. Ooh. And I'm like, I don't care who anyone else is, but you tell them Hypnos is taken.
Oh
I'm dressing as Hypnos.
Hypnos is my favorite.
Mine too. I love him. Oh my gosh.
He's so sassy.
He is. And at first I was like, this little bitch. Like I was so like mad. And I was like, wait, no, he thinks he's helping. Like, I'm like, oh, he's so cute, but also a little snippy. I like that.
He's doing what he can.
Yeah, he's doing his best. Which isn't much, but he's doing his best.
Yes.
Yeah, I love that game. And so yeah, I know what you mean by like characters really just like striking you as being like, oh my gosh, I freaking love this character, because that's how I was with Hypnos. And it's cool that you're able to find inspiration in so many different places.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like I said, it hasn't been as easy like the past couple of years, because of the pandemic and all that stuff. But yeah, I'm pretty sure that's the thing that a lot of people are experiencing now. But historically, that's been a big source of passion for me.
And I know the feeling of playing a game and then like just getting addicted to a character, because before I knew what cosplay was, for Halloween one year I dressed up as a Dane Tribal from Final Fantasy IX. I made a tail, like I don't sew, but I sewed a tail and attached it to a pair of work pants and a pair of jeans. A friend of mine let me carry around his real metal sword, which I quickly found out in Massachusetts they frown upon that, so I had to keep that in the car, so I couldn't carry the prop.
Oh man! But you can't lug around a giant sword in public? That's a shame.
What's the point of life?
Yeah, what's the point?
Although I think it's okay in Texas, but
of course it is.
I mean, yeah. Oklahoma and Texas, pretty much anything's legal around here. But as far as like what you can just have with you, I saw a guy walking down 9th Street the other day with a freaking gigantic parrot on his shoulder once. I'm like, all right.
Okay, sure. What else?
Yeah, sure, Southern Oklahoma for you. A guy with a parrot just walking down.
I was gonna say,
I'm glad he had pants.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah.
I was gonna say if it was when you were up in New York area, I'd be like, oh, it must be Joe Tucci, who I know, who dresses like a parrot, who dresses like a pirate and carries a parrot with him everywhere he goes.
That's a hobby.
That is a hobby.
And he attends a lot of conventions and stuff. Awesome guy.
I see.
And question in the chat room, and he said, I know it's not a Christy special, but he had a question for Christy asking, what was it like working on Dragon Maid and voicing Ilulu? How did your opinion on her change as the show went on?
It was absolutely incredible. I loved getting to work on it. Like, whenever I found out that I booked the audition, I was like, me? Like, me? Like, because going back to the curse of the artist that we were talking about beforehand is you see your own work and you pick it to pieces. And I'm sure, Kate, you can also relate to this, is everything you do, you pick it to pieces. And no matter, like, how wonderful it may be, you're always going to see the things that you could have done differently. And so that's, yeah, I see you doing exactly, I know what you mean. Yeah. But no, I booked the audition and it was wonderful. And my opinion on her, I only got to watch just a little bit of, Dragon Maid before I had to send off the audition, because I think it was a pretty quick turnaround. And so I watched like the first episode and I was like, all right, so she's got like real gremlin energy in this first episode. But she still looks kind of childlike. And so I just like gave her like critter and energy, because she's like got the sharp teeth and everything. So cute. And then like as time went on and as I like learned about, more about her story in the show, I was like really pleasantly surprised with how much of an absolute sweetheart she was. Like, I totally love like getting to be like a little scrappy fighter and stuff. But it was really fun getting to explore like her emotional side and everything while still retaining that little bit of like scrappiness. Like, there's a reason her little logo is a skull type thing. Like, so it was really fun, because I feel like that character, even Kyle, the director, he was like, I'm so glad I chose you. You are Ilulu. And I'm like, haha, thanks. Because she's sort of yucky. And I think we talked about this last time, Doug, that I'm sort of yucky, and I love that. So it makes me happy.
And you said you get a lot of inspiration from many different areas. Are there anime characters that you've seen and been like, I need to do this character? Or
not so much anime, more so like cartoons and video games. That's where I really get attracted to characters the most, I think. Like, for some reason, anime, like, sometimes I'm like, ooh, yeah, okay, but most of the time, for some reason, it doesn't hook me.
Mm-hmm. I know what you mean. Because like, I love voicing anime, but I want to voice everything. Mm-hmm. And so my like first notion that I ever wanted to be a voice actor was from watching the Animaniacs. And so like it was more like Western animation, like Real Monsters, Animaniacs, stuff like that made me want to voice act. And I just happened to like get into the industry in Dallas, which is very anime heavy. And so that's where I've like started. But like now my goal is to like branch into like Western cartoons and do more video games, because I've done a couple of video games. Yeah. But like I did Smite. If you've ever played Smite, I voiced a couple of the skins in Smite, which is really fun.
Cool.
Oh, thanks. It was super fun.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Someone remembers.
How did I forget it? Oh, one of my favorites. But
yes.
Yeah, anyway, I feel you on that, because like a lot of my inspiration to become a voice actor came from like Western media. But like I happen to fall into anime and I love it to bits. But my problem is that I don't want to just stop at anime. I just want to voice everything.
Of course.
Yeah.
Because it sounds like that's something you really enjoy, just voice acting in general. And when you really love something, it doesn't matter what it is. You just
absolutely. Yeah. Sorry, Dottie. So is there a character that you've like sort of had a notion that like, yeah, they're my next one? Do you have one in mind, or do you have 4 in mind? Do you have?
How did you know? No, like there's a few that I have in mind, but they're really complicated. So I'm trying to like figure out in my head how the heck I'm gonna do it, if I'm going to do it, if it's worth doing it. And sometimes I get a little like too organized about it. Like I write it in my notepad, and then I think about like, okay, I need this body paint, I need to get this stuff to match the color, like all this stuff. And then sometimes I'm just like, I put too much thought into this, I'm gonna just drop it. that happens all the time. But hopefully that won't happen this time because I'm very excited to.
Yeah, I want to see what you come up with next. I'm interested in it. What has been your most difficult one so far?
Probably Lotor from Voltron.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
I'll
yeah.
have to
I
look
don't
it
know
up
if
here in just a minute.
Yeah, he's this very large purple alien with long silver hair, and he's got a lot of armor.
Oh
And
yeah.
he's very complicated. I'm not really much of a foamsmith. I don't do a lot of like armor stuff. I try to stick to like makeup and wigs, and like if I want to learn things, sure, like I'll go for it. But it was just a lot, and I ended up having to borrow my friend's armor that they had already made in advance for the same character, which was really nice. But like, it was, I was trying to work on the whole thing all at once, and it just wasn't working out. It was a lot.
Oh man. Yeah, I mean, I can't even imagine. Like for my Halloween costume, I made like a little foam hat for the mouse that I was carrying around. And like that was a struggle.
Mm-hmm.
I just made like a little foam hat for our mouse, a little stuffed mouse, and I was just like, I don't know how people make entire costume pieces out of this. This is wild.
I don't
not
either.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the whole prospect of con crunching is insane to me because these people just whip out these whole outfits, these whole armor pieces, all these props, and I'm just like, how do you do this?
Yeah. Well, at the same time though, I see a lot of your pictures and I'm still like, how do you do this? Because the way you transform your face with makeup is really cool. And I'm wondering, how do you approach that? Like, how do you approach changing? Oh, dang.
I'm going through his Instagram going, let's find some good pictures so we can really appreciate the work that you do, kid.
That was prosthetic. Thank you, guys. Thank you.
That's amazing. Sorry, I'm squinting because like I don't have my glasses on because I'll reflect really bad.
Oh, you're good. You're good. I'm wearing contacts. But yeah, that was all prosthetics.
That was so good.
I'm trying to remember what base I used for. I think it was just toilet paper. Yeah, I used toilet paper and liquid latex and used it to create like a snout. And I adhered it to my face with the liquid latex. And it was really weird because off my face it looked like I like skinned the character, and it was just sitting on my counter, and it was really disturbing. I was like,
this is oddly terrifying.
Really bad. It was like a child.
Wear the face.
It felt like it. I was like, oh god.
Oh my gosh.
That was a lot of fun. That was my first time doing like major like nose prosthetics. Even though it's not like professional, like I didn't make like I guess like professional grade prosthetics, literally toilet paper. But I still thought
it works.
Yeah,
because like I took like one stage makeup class in college, and boy, man, like the stuff you can do with toilet paper and like liquid latex is insanity. The stuff I've seen people do, and like which it brings me to, I guess, the question that I was getting ready to ask you though is like, whenever it comes time to like transform your face into another character and you have to do some form of makeup like you did with like Hades and stuff like that, the ones you did for Hades, and even just for like your Animal Crossing ones, how do you go about seeing this character's face shape, how will I make that translate onto mine?
Yeah, that's actually something I struggle with because every time I do a character, if I do them multiple times, it'll be different every single time. And
interesting.
Because I can never make up my mind on how I want to do things. Like for Flick, for example, from Animal Crossing, first time I did it was a super feminine look. Like I used like a lot of eyeshadows. I used like a lot of pink because he's a pink reddish chameleon.
Mm-hmm.
And I really didn't know what I was doing. Usually I use other cosplayers for inspiration. I like kind of copy their techniques and use it, like try to see how it would look on me. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. And after I did that, it ended up being like more of a male Flick, and it was very like androgynous, like mask. And I didn't intend for either of those looks to come out the way that they did. It was just how I was feeling that way that day, how I was who I was taking inspiration from that day, how just how it came out. And it's hard to answer like how I specifically do face shapes and stuff, because specifically for Flick, he's a chameleon, so you have to use like a lot of artistic, I don't know, just you gotta really like figure it out.
You got a lot of liberty happening there.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, mostly it's like I look at the character, or I look at a cosplayer, or I look at my previous makeup attempts from the same character if I like specific things that I did. But it's a lot of guesswork. A lot of
Yeah.
it is guesswork.
I see. Do you ever hit a point where you like you like do the whole look and you're just like, I hate it, this sucks, and then just like take it off?
Okay, that happened once. That happened once because usually I'm like, trust the process, it'll be fine. Like, keep working on it, like it'll be fine, and it's like it always does. It always turns out.
That's a great
the
approach to it.
Yeah. And the one time it didn't was actually for Victor from Corpse Bride, where I couldn't go back. I couldn't trust the process because I had already done a method where I made my eyebrows disappear. And if I erased the makeup over the eyebrows would reappear, and I would literally have to start all over. There was no going back at that point. So I just took a shower, called today, and did the whole thing the next day without getting rid of my eyebrows, so to speak. And I loved how it turned out.
That's good. That's good that it was a victory
weird.
for you. It was a W.
Yeah. It would have sucked if it sucked a second time, but it didn't, which is great.
Yeah, that's good.
How
And knowing when to call it off, that's a hard time too, I'm sure.
Yes. Yeah. It was a lot.
And with the makeup side of things, what got you interested in playing with the makeup to create the look on some of these characters, especially where some of them, like the Western like American cartoon styles, they have different shapes and different textures on faces and stuff, as opposed to anime characters, which a lot of our listeners know and things. What got you interested in trying to make the right contours and things like that with the makeup?
So the reason why I got into makeup specifically as a form of like artistic medium, I was previously doing a lot of traditional and digital art, and I kind of hit a wall. And right around that time where I discovered my favorite character, I wanted to be him, and that kind of just trampolined into like all these different people just using makeup, and that's how I got into makeup. But are you asking like how I know what kind of makeup to do for Western versus anime?
Or I was just curious what got you into the makeup side of things. I know a lot of cosplayers who they dress the part, but don't go into the makeup side of things. I would just dress in costume, but I've never worn makeup. I've never done anything like that. So I've never thought of that side of things. So I'm still fairly new to the cosplay world. My wife makes costumes and things like that. She made a Sylvie, the Guildmaster from How Not to Summon a Demon Lord. She made a cosplay of that character in 4 days before Kineticon earlier this year.
Wow.
Oh my gosh.
That's insane.
Yeah.
So I was just curious what drew you to the makeup side of things, because the makeup stuff that you do is what I think sets you apart from most of the cosplayers we've had on the show.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Yeah, that's actually a really good question. I think I had already established I was no good at sewing, and I never enjoyed sewing, to be honest. And honestly, when I first started, I wasn't good at makeup either. But I think the whole point of doing makeup as like my sole artistic craft is that that's what makes you look like them, and that's what I wanted to do. Like, I literally just wanted to like be a different person as much as possible. Like, I didn't have to be like clothing accurate. I didn't have to have all the props. But if I looked like this character, I could pretend to be them for a small amount of time. And I don't know if at the time I was trying to use it as a form of like escapism, if it just felt really cool, if like I got to like get to know a character in a way that I never thought I could, maybe, but like
it could be all of those. I mean,
yeah,
it doesn't have. They're not mutually exclusive.
Yeah, and also like a new art form. Like, I discovered a new art form, and I don't think that was my intention, but I did that. Oh yeah, there's Howl.
That's awesome.
Like I said, I'm going through the Instagram because I want to put up some of the like the amazing photos that you have been taking of you in these costumes, because I really have become a fan. Thank you, Christy, for introducing me to his work. And like, I appreciate, as a cosplayer myself, even though I don't do it very often. And my wife is an artist as well, so I understand the art side of thing. I understand cosplay, and through the show and talking with Christy and many other voice actors, I can appreciate and have a better understanding of multiple sides of the wonders of the convention world. And I want to make sure that we can. I want to show off your amazing talents as much as I can.
That's really sweet. I appreciate that a lot.
And no, what was your first con that you decided you wanted to dress up at, and what was the character?
It was Axel, and it was at MomoCon. I think it was 5 years ago. It's a con in Georgia.
It's in Georgia, right?
During
Yeah.
summer.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, MomoCon's pretty big too, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was a big con.
Oh, that's cool.
I didn't know what to do with myself. I went with my best friend, and we had a blast. I think that was the only person I cosplayed the whole weekend, but that was fine because I had enough to focus on because it was a lot.
It was crazy. The con, I think aside from like little tiny cons, the one that I've been to the most is A-Kon in Dallas, just because I live so close to it. But I've never I don't know. I've always done sort of cosplays. Like, I don't know. I have a really I have a problem with I'll spend so much time on the costume that when it comes time to style a wig or do anything like that, I'm like, I'm tired.
Yeah.
And so I'm just and then I just kind of half-ass some of it, which I bum myself out. But yeah, A-Kon's a really big con, and I would like to visit more cons like MomoCon and stuff like that. And I'm really fortunate now because I can start becoming a guest at these cons, and I can go and do panels at them, which is even more fun because you get to meet so many new people. Going to cons, you get to meet so many incredible people, and that's something that. Sorry, my cat's trying to give me a bath. She's like, your hand is dirty. Let me lick it. No, Dottie, it's fine. But anyway, yeah. And see, that's cool that you got to go to such a huge con first, because I'm sure that was a really great experience. Did you see any particular cosplayers there while you're at your first con where you're just I want to be that good?
Ooh, I don't think I did. I don't actually remember. I remember taking a picture with a bunch of Final Fantasy cosplayers. Yeah,
cool.
actually, I think that was when I thought that because they were all really good, and I was like, oh my gosh, maybe someday. Oh, yeah.
You're like, oh, that's really nice.
Oh, would you believe that's my Ito wig?
No way.
Yeah,
that's killer.
I teased the actual hell out of that wig.
That's amazing. I love that.
I just knotted it up. It was fun.
That's super cool. So speaking of conventions, though, have you ever been a guest at any of them?
Mm-mm. Nope.
Oh, I see. Would you be open to ever being a cosplay guest? Is that something that you would want to do if you ever had the opportunity?
Yeah, I think that would be really rad, honestly.
Yeah.
I didn't know if that was something that friends of mine.
I didn't know if that was something you were ever interested in or not, because unlike the voice actor side, I feel like that's just the two kind of go hand in hand.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like with cosplayers, there are a lot of them who are just I don't really do cons, so I didn't know if that was your jam or not or anything like that.
No, I go to all the cons. I think my only worry would be that I want to go see all my friends and participate in all the things, and I didn't.
But you'd have panels that you have to host.
Yeah,
and stuff like
exactly.
that.
Exactly.
I'm having too much fun. I don't want to work now.
Exactly. But it totally wouldn't feel like work. But another reservation I think I have is that I'm pretty introverted. I have a hard time coming up with topics. I have a hard time carrying conversation. So I think if I had to host a panel by myself, I'd have to rehearse the entire thing and commit it all to memory, or else I don't know, scream internally or externally.
The whole time maybe. You're just I want to die.
Pretty much. Someone takes a cane and just shoves me off the stage.
Yes.
But I think a panel that would be good for you to put on would be a makeup tutorial explaining how you do the makeup and things. Because I think a lot of cosplayers out there can benefit from techniques that you use and the knowledge that you have. Like I said, I've been posting pictures all night of characters that you've done, and I mean, you're amazing with the stuff you've done.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Like,
oh man, I love Double Trouble. That's when I still cosplay.
So it's always like, I see the work that cosplayers do, and it never ceases to amaze me at just how talented you guys are. And I try my best to take the time to properly appreciate the work that you guys do, because I know that you guys work very hard on your craft. And doing a show like this, I wanted to give back to the anime and Comic-Con communities, because they helped me get through a messy divorce, things of that nature, many years ago. And I found a way of giving back. And it's like, everybody loves when we have the voice actors on, but I've always viewed it as cosplayers, artists, people in the dealer and vendors halls usually are the heart and soul of the conventions. People go there to see, the big names may draw the people in, but people like you, the cosplayers, are the ones who are stopped a ton for photographs. And can you tell me about how you did things? And so I wanted to give you guys a platform where you can promote yourself and talk about what you love to do.
Oh, well, I appreciate that. And I'm sure all the other cosplayers who have been on before me and after me appreciate it as well. Because, conventions are a big combination of voice actors, cosplayers, artists, like all creative, nerd-minded people just come to one place. And it's really cool. And in order to have a space like this to talk about it is invaluable. So it's a thank you.
Oh, you're welcome, and thank you so much for coming on tonight. Now, you're talking about going to conventions. Have you been to any New England area conventions?
No, I haven't, actually. Usually I go to ones where I can drive. I've flown to one once, but it's kind of tricky to like pack all your wigs and all your stuff on a flight. But no, that'd be really cool to see. I wonder how different they are, than the East Coast. Because
I like, my first convention was Anime Boston, which is a huge 3-day convention. They usually average between 25 to 30,000 people in the weekend.
Oh wow!
And that, of course, was pre-pandemic, and numbers are down because of that. But like Kineticon in Hartford, Connecticut is one that we attended this year. Smaller convention, AAC in Massachusetts and stuff, because I live in upstate New York. I'm like 40 minutes from the Canadian border.
Oh, okay. What about Katsucon? That's up there.
Katsucon, we made it to Katsucon once. That was the year before our daughter was born, and that's an amazing convention. We want to get back there. That's where cosplayers bring their A game, is Katsu for the Northeast area.
Yep.
Because it's a beautiful location. The hotel, they have they have a garden inside with waterfall and fountains and stuff. It's absolutely amazing. We got to get Christy there as well.
Yes.
We got to get Christy up here to the Northeast.
Honestly,
I'm perfectly fine with that. Yes, I just spent some time in the Northeast, and whenever I was in New York and everything, and that was fun. So I will brave the weather and come back.
Oh gosh, yeah, it was hailing the last Katsucon.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, it was a lot.
And where is that one?
That's in Baltimore.
Yeah, National Harbor, Maryland. So right outside of DC area.
Yep.
I see.
And it's a huge convention center. Actually, on our YouTube channel, you can go back through some of our older videos from when we were pressed there. We recorded the Katsucon Idol, and a friend of mine, Juliana Infantino, won the Katsucon Idol.
Nice.
And she's been a guest on the show. Oh, we lost Kit.
Oh no.
He'll be back in just a moment, folks. Technical issues.
Yeah, what happened to me earlier was I clicked on the little doodad, and it was like stop mic/cam, and I was like, oh, maybe that's muting me, and then I didn't realize there's a mute button down below, and I was like, oh great, I just completely left. Thanks.
I went through the chat. I was like, ooh, there's people talking, and then I clicked done, And apparently that done means like you're done.
That's
like,
that's what
goodbye.
happened to me. Yeah, similar. Just like,
geez.
oops, didn't intend for that to happen.
Whoa.
And thank you to everybody who's in the chat tonight, joining us. We're having a lot of fun chatting with these amazing people. And Darren, you've been quiet tonight. Do you have any questions for Kit on the cosplays and stuff he does?
Maybe more or less. Since you said MomoCon, have you ever been to North Carolina to any of their conventions?
Yeah.
Because have you ever been to Animazement or SuperCon or let's see, what's the other one we have? DragonCon?
Mm-hmm. I've been to Animazement and DragonCon.
Okay, which years to Animazement did you go? Because I've gone pretty much every year for the past 6 or 7 years.
It was either 2017 or 2018. I'm not sure which one, but it was one of those.
So I probably saw you and, well, would have never known you.
That's awesome. It's so weird how that happens at like so many conventions. It's like you probably have seen somebody that you know, but like you don't know them.
That's how it is with voice actors. Like, I see people that I've heard far more than I've actually seen them. Because we don't record all together whenever we voice act. We do it like line by line. Since we're dubbing, we can't all be in one room together. We have to, it's not prelay, we have to do it each person. So I might be in the booth and I'm like reacting to somebody who hasn't even recorded yet. And so I have to like see what their line says and then, voice mine. Or it's the other way around and I'm the last to record and I hear everybody, but there was a show that I was in called The Ones Within, and I watched every episode of it because I just really loved that show. Because I'll admit, like, I don't have a ton of time, and so I actually don't watch a lot of anime. I mostly just watch, like, little bits and pieces of what I'm in a lot of the time. Like, it's very rare that I'll, like, sit there and binge watch an anime unless it's, like, Paranoia Agent or something. But anyway, going back to what I was talking about, though, The Ones Within was a really good one. And so I was watching it, and then we had a cast party for it. And in this cast party, I realized, like, I was seeing these people that I've heard for the last 12 weeks. Like every week I've heard them, like, quite a bit, because I had to record, like, several hours for them, and then I would also watch episodes. But, like, this is my first time actually meeting them. So, like, hearing people a lot before I actually meet them is super surreal sometimes. And so as you were talking about the conventions, like people have asked me before, they're like, oh, you were in that show with so-and-so, what are they like? And I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
Good question. Why don't you go ask them? Because I have no idea. Like, for instance, The Ones Within, my character interacts like crazy with Justin Briner's character. And I've only mostly just said hi to Justin Briner, like passing each other in the hallway before. He's a really nice guy, but I don't really know anything about him. And I feel bad. Like, I feel like I'm letting people down wherever they're just like, yeah, you were in this with so-and-so. What were they like? And I'm like, well, they sounded good.
Yeah.
Haven't been to a pool party with them or anything.
Is it like hard to react to people that you don't know what their actual reactions are?
Sometimes it is, especially if it's just like one line. But what they'll do, because like if you're reacting to a paragraph, you can kind of understand like where they're going with it, even if they haven't recorded. But if it's just like, hey, you, something like that, you're like, okay, there's so many different ways that I can react to hey, you. And so that's luckily where the director comes in, because the director will fortunately be like, okay, so this is, this person's angry at you for this. And so when you respond to them, you're having an argument, and then you'll do it. And they're like, okay, let's try one more with this time, add a little bit more stank to it. And so we'll try again. And then the director will kind of like get these couple of takes and like fit the pieces together. And so that way, since you've recorded, they now kind of have an understanding of how they want this other person to kind of sound. And so it's really difficult sometimes, like if you're not given a lot to react to, or if you're like the first character recording on the show that your character hasn't even shown up yet, like that's really hard, because you're just working from the ground up, just absolutely nothing. but I've gotten a lot better at it. Booth experience definitely helps, and also the director being there to guide you helps a lot too. And also, whenever they voice act or whenever you go in for dubbing, what they'll do is they're like, all right, we're going to watch it and then go in for it. And they'll do what they call beeping you in, which is when you're watching the Japanese video, you'll have the video and then you'll have the script up next to it. And you'll be watching the video just to kind of get an idea of like the volume and everything, because my character might be in the middle of a fight scene, but then she says like, what are you doing? And so without video, you're just like, okay, like, what are you doing? Or what are you doing? You know, how do you say that? But then they're like, okay, then you like watch it in the Japanese and you kind of get like the tone, even though you can't understand what they're saying. I can't speak Japanese. I know like like I don't even know how to ask for the bathroom in Japanese. I just know like hello and the things that I've picked up from like pre-watching the anime. And so like but anyway, so yeah, where I was going with that. Anyway, we watch the Japanese to just get like what they're saying it like down volume wise and how big they're going, if they're doing it really big and angry or really big and silly, or if they're doing it really close and like you know, intimate type thing. And then you'll hear beep, beep, beep in your headphones, and on the imaginary fourth beep, that's when your character starts talking. And so they'll beep you in, and it's to tell you like when your character starts talking. And it helps you kind of fit the mouth movements because it's already animated, so you have to talk at the same speed that it's animated, which is really hard to like get down. And I still am like not perfect at it by any means. It's just one of those things that's like you have to do it with experience, because it's like watching a puppet show and you're voicing one of the puppets, but you're not controlling them. And and so you have to like, and so watching it in the Japanese, you also see if there's like any pauses or anything like that that they take where you need to take like deliberate pauses. And then, you know, they'll come in for the English, and you hear the beeps in your headset again, and then that's when you say the English line that's like up on your script. But all the scripts have been like translated and written to fit whatever the animation is. So all that work is done by the adapters, which are the MVPs, man. I swear, like actors get a lot of like
the actors get the love.
We do. We get so many pats on the back, but we are like a small piece of what goes into dubbing anime. It is unreal. I've worked with so many great directors and like seen so many like lovingly adapted scripts and like engineers who can like take a read of mine that I was just like, nah, it's too long. And they're like, no, I've got you. And like, it was the read the director wanted. And so the engineer was able to make it fit. And it's like the number of people that make the dubs work are not just the actors. And I'm like, but look, also the engineers are amazing. And the directors, like, oh man, they need love too. And so,
we do try to give the love on this show to everybody behind the scenes. And I have said multiple times, if anybody who is a part of the anime dubbing process would like to come on the show, we would love to have the engineers, the script writers, the adapters, you know, the people behind the scenes. We've had people on who are, you know, like Anthony Bowling. We've talked to him about being a director.
Oh yeah.
And that side of things. And, you know, we've talked to people who help out with these ADR script adaptation and things of that nature. Because as you said, Christy, there are so many levels behind the scenes that the only credit that these people get is maybe a blip on the DVD of scriptwriter. Oh, look, there was my name for 5 seconds going across the screen, but they probably put more hours in there than the voice actors combined to get this stuff together, but they get the least amount of credit. And so we want to get them on the show and give them, you know, the love that they need too.
I know with script adaptation, I want to say it takes, I think from what I've experienced, I've never adapted a script myself, but I am friends with Kristen McGuire, who was a script adapter forever. And I think maybe like an hour a minute is usually like how fast adaptation goes if you're like making good time. Some shows are really hard to adapt because sometimes they'll just like they'll animate the character's mouth open for 5 seconds and you're just like, what goes in here? The Japanese isn't making any noise. Do you want us to also do the same? Like, just have our characters standing there with an open mouth?
Just scream. You just
Yeah.
yell.
Yeah. And funny, that actually explains my my little name down here, by the way.
Oh, yeah?
Because that's how anime scripts are written. So if you see it in brackets like that, it's like a sound, it's a reaction, it's not a line. And so there's CM, CT, and OM, closed mouth, clenched teeth, open mouth. And so, like, in anime they do a lot of breathing, lots and lots of breathing.
Yes.
Like, and nothing ever happens silently. So if like my phone went off in real life, I would just, sorry, I'm fidgety. No, if my phone went off in real life, I'd just be like, all right, and check it and put it back down. But if your phone goes off in anime, it's just like, like, they always breathe and make noises.
They do. They always gasp.
Oh.
Yeah.
Like, Mommy, why are you so dramatic?
Yeah, everything. Yeah, it's like a melodrama. Yes.
Yeah.
And so CT Excited is just like, and like,
I love that.
and so I mean, I've like, I'll do one I had to do the other day. Or no, it was OM Looney Tunes, because she was like, like out of the, like leaving a place.
Oh my
or
God.
whatever. Yeah, so OT. Wow. Good job, Christy.
So that's
OM
open
Looney
mouth.
Tunes. Yeah, OM Looney Tunes. I've been a voice actress for 4 years now, I think. Professionally. I've like acted since the 3rd grade. I say that. I was in class plays and stuff. I wasn't like in any kind of like specialty school for it. You know, I was up there with all the other kids in the risers singing about like space mice. But I was by no means in acting school in the 3rd grade.
I mean, you never know.
Yeah, you know what? It was all practice of me being like a gigantic ham, so it all worked.
There you go.
Yeah, well, because whenever I was in the 3rd grade, I didn't realize this, but like people, because the 3rd grade is whenever they started like making you be in class plays, even if you didn't have any speaking lines, you'd like be in the risers singing with all your friends and buddies and all that. See, I love that. That rules. It rolls so hard. Like the teeth and everything are so
That was a fun
neat.
shoot. Yeah, I made that with thermoplastic. It was a learning experience.
That's killer.
It was cool. I have a set of yellow teeth for him and a set of white teeth for Double Trouble.
That's awesome.
Look at that. I'm going to keep surprising you with these random pictures of the work.
I just like, randomly just like, oh God, that's me. Wow. Hello.
And I'm curious, Kit, when we first reached out to you after Christy, because we did a special for Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid, and at the end of the show, like we normally do, we say, send us your suggestions, and she goes, there's a cosplayer I really, really like. I want to see if you can try to get a hold of them. Were you surprised when we sent you an email about coming on the show?
I get invitations similar sometimes, so I wasn't surprised. But what I was surprised by was when I went to go check out the show and watch that episode, watch all the way, and then listen at the end when she suggested me. Then I had an out-of-body experience. Like, that's me. Then I was surprised. I was like, oh my gosh, wow, okay.
No, I mean, I think that, you know, if there are ever times that you're wondering, you know, if your art is reaching people, or like if it, you know, sometimes I know as an artist, you're just thinking like, why am I doing this? And like stuff like that, though, like, I mean, I can guarantee you, first person experience, yes, your art has reached somebody. And so like, never forget that you're always reaching somebody.
And you don't know what level.
Yeah. So thank you for that. I like with Instagram's algorithm and all that stuff. It's
yeah. How do you strategize around that?
So it's a difficult line to toe between, because on one hand, like, I do cosplay because it's fun. I never want to monetize it. I don't want it to be anything but a hobby because I don't want to lose the passion I have for it. Like, that is my biggest fear, is like making it into like some sort of career or something and not feeling the way that I did when it was a hobby. Mm-hmm. So I try not to think too hard about it. Like, if I need a mental break, I'll take weeks, months, But when you go back to posting, of course, Instagram will penalize you for taking that lengthy break. And then you have to get in the mindset of like, no, it's okay. You're just posting this for fun. But then there's always that lingering like, but it's bad because Instagram said that it's bad and you're not getting engagement. It's tricky. It's really tricky.
Well, and I don't think that, I don't think that you using it as a hobby, that's not devalued by caring about like Instagram engagement too. I feel like, again, those two things aren't mutually exclusive. I feel like you can fully, wholeheartedly want to do this as a hobby and do it because you love it, but also like be able to appreciate that aspect of it and want to, continue engaging with people who like do follow you because of your cosplay. And so I don't think there's anything wrong in like noting, what the Instagram algorithm is and everything, and like wanting to wanting your posts to work with that,
Yeah, that's because, a good way to look at it.
You can't ever sell yourself short. And like one of the things that come on, Dottie, jeez. One of the things that I've really had to wrap my head around lately is that, you can be grateful, but also, and you can still enjoy what you do, but you can also treat it like you're serious about it. And, that doesn't necessarily mean that it's no longer a hobby or anything like that. And I think as long as you're still having a good time, then, that's the point that matters. So as long as you're still loving it, then, that's all that really matters. But I know you said you were dealing with a little bit of burnout, which I did want to talk to you about. Do you find that there's any specific thing that gets you through burnout, or do you feel like just taking time away will get you through burnout? Is there anything that you do to kind of like help out with that?
Taking time away has been really good for my mental health. And also that really like mushy comment that I left on your photo, like that caption, I read it like 10 times and I was like, this is helping me somehow.
Oh, that's so good. I'm so glad. That means a lot to me, and I'm really thankful for you telling me that too, by the way. Thank you.
Yeah. For context, Christy's one of the captions that she wrote in a post on Instagram said something about loving doing makeup because it's like painting a different picture every day. And like I really needed that perspective because it's gotten a little, I don't want to say bland, but like I find myself going, when I'm about to like put on makeup.
I see.
I do it so often or something. I don't know why, but it's just your classic burnout.
When it starts becoming redundant, that's when you start losing the interest, because it's the same thing over, like a mechanic who, like if you work as a lube technician at a quick lube place, you're doing oil changes all day, every day. You get bored after a while.
Exactly.
And you want the break or you want to change. And I think it's perfectly fine. Everybody here has undergone, the mental stress of whatever we're doing, and you need that time away so that you can recharge the batteries, rekindle the love of what you're doing, and remember why you're doing it in the first place.
Exactly.
Yeah, you can't pour from an empty cup. And
it's got me thinking a lot about why I started in the first place. Because that changes. Like I think that goes for every hobby. Like it's so fluid. It changes. It fluctuates. And I think a big reason why I've had the burnout is because I've been saying yes to a lot of influencer type stuff, which isn't a bad thing. It's really fun. But it feels like it's more of a job when I do that stuff. Like contacts, like I promote contacts, I leave reviews, but it's like, okay, I guess I got to get into this cosplay to leave this review for these contacts. I'm like, okay, I guess I have to do this. And if you continue to accept things, it builds until you're not doing exactly what you want to do, even though it's what you want to do because it's still makeup, but it's not, it's different.
But you're not doing what you want. You're doing what you're somewhat contractually obligated to do. And so you're losing the personal side of what you're doing and the enjoyment side, because now you're obligated to promote certain, like I see a lot of ads that come across social media of these ears that move. And
yes, I've seen those.
I've seen those too. Yeah,
they're really cool.
They are. I have no reason to own a pair, and yet I still want a pair.
And yet,
And yet here we are, with me wanting an extra $100 some odd to chill out.
and what I laughed about was I watch a lot of YouTube gamers.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the gamers that I follow and I watch especially when she's playing with in groups like Among Us and Minecraft with other YouTubers,
Mm-hmm.
I watch her username is Hello I Am Kate.
Mm-hmm.
And then I saw an ad for these ears, and she was wearing I'm like, wait, I know her, not personally, but I know this person from YouTube, and so you see that, and then it's like, well, if she's trying them out, and I know a lot of the YouTubers I follow have millions of subscribers. It's
Mm-hmm.
how they make, their living is off of making these videos and stuff, as opposed to, you and me, kid, like this is a hobby for me, doing this show every week. There's, we have great sponsors who donate gifts or time to help us with the show, but we have no financial backing. So every week,
Mm-hmm.
everything we do is solely on Darren and myself and a small team of friends around us that help to promote. My wife is an artist who did our logo, and she helps us at conventions and things of that nature. And like you said, you enjoy it more. Like when you started, you just enjoyed the cosplay aspect. You enjoyed creating this character so you could become something other than yourself, whether it was for a mental break to get away from everyday life, which I think a lot of cosplayers just enjoy, being able to step away from, this is who I am in the week, convention time, I'm Batman, or I am this anime character, or whoever. And, I won't lie. Would I love to get a paying sponsorship and things? I would absolutely love to be able to make money doing the show.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, I also know that if that happens, I'm going to be under certain obligations to keep the show a certain way.
Yeah.
And then you lose the personal side of things. And I've done this show 7.5 years. I like to keep it laid back. We completely improv this show. I have no set list of questions. I like it like this because I feel the show is more real.
Yeah, it's a conversation.
People get to learn the real you, as opposed to you hear these interviews where a person's got a list of 10 questions and you can tell it's pre-programmed out.
Yeah.
And you're like, you're listening to two robots go over the same thing that they probably rehearsed before the show 4 or 5 times, and where it can be fun that way, but this is more almost intimate because you don't know what's coming up and you get to see the real reactions of people.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's one thing that our longtime fans really enjoy, and hopefully the new people coming in tonight will enjoy this format as well and will come back, because we love the listeners who come in. And Christy, you've joined us in the past, and you were very complimentary of how we do the show and things, and really I appreciate the feedback that you gave me, because
it's been great.
As a creator, you think you're doing okay, but you never know.
Yeah. I actually just messaged someone on Twitter, and one of the joys of voice acting for me that I've discovered, like with like booking auditions and stuff like that, is that as an artist, like hearing that somebody else believes in you and like is behind you, and like hearing that somebody like trusts your ability to do something more than even you did is like, hang on, what? Me? No. And my boyfriend, he's wonderful. I like whenever I booked Delulu, I like told him, I was like, I mean, I hope I do okay. That's like, and he was like, wow, I wonder how that happened, Christy. They accidentally typed an entire email to you instead of the person they meant to cast. Total accident happens all the time. And I'm like, all right, fine, shut up.
We love imposter syndrome.
Oh, absolutely, 100%. And I think all of us here probably have suffered from it in one way or another. I 100% do. And so, you were saying, though, going back to... I love these.
Oh, wait, I'm waiting for it to double trouble.
I dig it. That's such a cool wig.
They're so much fun. Yeah, that wig was fun. That was one of my first undercut wigs. I cut really close to the weft of the wig to create an undercut, and turned out pretty well.
Yeah. Did you use more than one wig in that?
No, that's the wig.
That's crazy.
I think I teased up the floof. Yeah,
Yeah.
teasing's nuts because you literally nut like you knot the wig and then you brush over it and suddenly it's like 3 times the size of it previously. It's really cool.
Yeah. I did like a little bit of teasing on my Halloween wig that I did for Halloween. And like it made a big old difference. But it was far from cosplay. It was just like I wanted to be Lucia from Promare, but I wanted to be just that for Halloween, you know. I was like, I'm not even coming close to anything professional here.
No,
it was fun
like a fun cosplay though, because that's a great character. Promare's an awesome show.
That's actually like why I made the foam hat was I needed a Vinny. And
so that's right. Yes.
Yeah, she has the little rat companion or whatever, and so I was like, I need a Vinny, and so yeah,
that's
now I just
really
have this.
Cool.
Thanks. Yeah, it was a fun cosplay, but now I just have like all these pieces actually sitting around my house because I'm like, I don't have a place for any of this, and so that's my question. And again, for you, do you have like a room set aside for all of your stuff? Like,
I
where do you put all of it?
They all go in my closet. I'm like really fortunate to have a decently sized room and a decently sized closet. So I have like a shelf and I just like put my wigs there, and then I have like an upper shelf and I put my wigs there, and it's enough space, which is so nice.
That's good.
It isn't enough space, I throw it in a bag and it goes in the edge of my closet.
Hey, I mean, as long as yeah, that was pretty awesome. Oh my gosh. God, those contacts rule.
No, I'm sorry, what was that?
The contacts rule. Like,
oh, thank you. Yeah. Gosh, fun fact: DreamWorks actually shared that on Instagram.
No way!
I lost my mind.
Oh my god, that's killer!
I was at AWA, which is a Georgia Con, and I was in that elevator, and I saw it. This scream that escaped my mouth. I was like, no way.
That's phenomenal! Oh my gosh, that's such an exciting moment. Like, that's so cool.
I can understand the feeling. Because being like a small talk show as we are, I did the first anime related special I did was for an anime called New Game. And we were lucky enough to have Megan Shipman, I think it was Michelle Rojas, and I forget who voiced Alba's best friend, but we had 3 voice actresses on the show. And we were doing it a midweek special and recorded everything. It went live. Somehow the recording, even though the show had stopped, it recorded our chat afterwards. So I had to go back, take it down, edit it, put it back up. And when I put it back up with the edited version of it, the director of New Game posted it all over his social media. And it's like, wait. And I feel horrible. Yeah, Clifford Chapman is like, I'm like, Clifford Chapman is talking about the show I just did with all these people. Yes. What? I'm a nobody. How is this happening? You know?
Yeah. It's against the imposter syndrome. It's like, wait, is that me? Like, they're talking about me right now? Like, it's such an interesting thing to experience.
Yeah, and then the imposter syndrome is so real. Because again, I fully believe that, we will never believe in ourselves as hard as the people around us believe in us.
Yeah, because
and that's just sort of a fact of a life. Yeah.
All they know is the product of what we create and what we put all the time and sweat. But that's not what we usually show. We just show them the end, and it looks good, so that's all they have to go off of. So it makes sense.
Yeah, but I love that I do have. We all do have so many people that believe in us, and that know we can do this and support us in what we do and stuff like that, because podcasting, voice acting, cosplaying, whatever it is, those are all endeavors that or hobbies even that you don't necessarily hear everyone doing all the time. Right. As far as and being really, really good at it, and that sort of thing, and that it being your thing and being something you're truly passionate about. You don't meet those people just everywhere. And so it's cool to be surrounded still by people who are they acknowledge what you're doing and they're just no, I'm 100% behind you. Because even though you're not necessarily you're not looking to open your own bakery, you're not
Yeah. Good example. Now I want to go to a bakery.
I know, right? I've got.
I hear you though.
That's one reason that I enjoy doing the show, and I was so happy that Christy recommended you, because aside from Katsucon, I don't think we've ever been to a convention in the same location. And I might have seen you at Katsucon when I was there, because it was 5 years ago, so that would be 2016.
I don't think I was going to cons at 2016.
So,
yeah.
So, I never would have had a chance to be introduced to you if it wasn't for Christy being a fan of yours. And, that's one thing that's great about this community is you get to meet so many awesome people through some of the most unusual means.
Yeah.
And Christy's able to hit cons down in Texas. I've never been to Texas.
Oh, really?
I live in upstate New York. So I know the New England cons.
It's probably best.
Oh no!
It's probably for the best that no one goes to Texas.
I was supposed to go to a small convention in Texas. Unfortunately, things fell through where financially they were going to bring us on as a guest because we worked closely with them for quite a while, and then financially things happened that they weren't able to fly us down there to be able to attend, which understandably they second year con, the first year went good, expected bigger things second year, so they tried going bigger and better, and unfortunately it didn't happen as they were hoping. Which it happens with a lot of cons, and this was a while ago, so there, no hard feelings with the convention, but it was a neat experience to be a part of some of their planning meetings and stuff like that. But I would love to get out to the conventions because there's so many amazing cosplayers, so many amazing voice actors out there we haven't had a chance to meet, and especially people on your level, Christy, where you've been in the industry for a few years, you have a lot of work under your belt, but people still don't fully know who you are. So you're not going to be like an Anime Boston is going to want a Jeremy Inman before Christy Rothrock, even though you're just as talented as he is, in my opinion.
I appreciate you saying that. And by the way, much love to Jeremy, man. Inman rules. Like, if you ever got a chance to meet him, like, Inman
we did at Kineticon, and I made that grave mistake of mistaking the woman with him for a cosplaying friend of mine who cosplayed the same character she was dressed as, not realizing it was Kimberly Grace, his girlfriend, who was also a voice actor. It's like,
whoops. Whoopsie. Oh, yeah. Well, I appreciate you saying that because I love hearing Inman's acting. And so that makes me really happy. Thank you. Inman's actually a really fun person to work with. The person that I was talking about beforehand when I was using like my chest voice, he actually cast me as Rinsen and Back Arrow. And that's the character. And gosh, the time that he and I got to spend on that show, just like laughing and having a good time, like was so fun. And I appreciate you saying that. He's really fun to work with too. So like, anytime you've ever like met him and like, and it's gone well, that's because Inman's just a good dude. Like he's just a nice guy. It's not put on.
No, he's been a guest on the show a couple of times. He was a part of our most talked about Christmas special ever in the 7 years that we've done it.
Really?
1 year we because of how good of friends Jeremy Inman and Anthony Bowling are, we wanted to get them on the show together. Christy's shaking her head because she knows. She's heard the story.
Those two, oh my God.
Well, they failed to tell us something very important about the night that we had them booked. And purposely, they didn't tell us this because they wanted to surprise us. But apparently, when we called Anthony, we called him first because when we were on Blog Talk, it was contact numbers. We didn't have video chat like we do now. It wasn't as easy to connect to people. And so we called Anthony first. I was like, all right, I'm getting ready to call Jeremy now. And Anthony was like, oh, don't bother. He's right here. I'll put you on speakerphone. I'm going to put on speakerphone. They were at a Funimation, like an unofficial Funimation voice actor Christmas party.
Oh, yeah.
And so Jeremy was like, oh, I'll be right back. I've got to go refresh my drink. And he comes back with Tia Ballard. And then he comes back with, oh, God, she's going to kill me for getting her name. she wrote the book One of Few, Terry Doty.
Oh, yeah.
And then came back with Stephen Fu. And they came back with like 2 other voice actors. And I could hear him talking with Alejandro Sub about, hey, come say hi. We're doing a podcast right now. These people are awesome. And at the time, I was I was in talks with Alejandro about coming on the show. He's like, oh, I'm going to probably try to make it on in January, which unfortunately the scheduling never happened. And we still haven't had Alejandro on the show, but would love to. And, but because of the complete chaos of they brought all these people on the show with us not knowing that it was going to happen. And I yelled at Anthony, like the next time I was on the show, I'm like, Anthony, you should have told us you were going to be at a Christmas party. We could have rescheduled. He goes, we weren't going to do that because this was our gift to you.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's so killer. Like what a cool thing to like bring to a podcast is, oh no. You're not just getting me. You're getting everybody.
And that, that's some of the fun stuff.
The gang's all here, and they're all good and drunk, probably.
The gang's all here.
Now, I know we want to put a lot of focus on you, Kit, for the work that you do. Do you have any questions for Christy about her career? Because I know you were caught off guard and excited when I told you she was going to be co-hosting the show tonight.
Well, you actually have a video of my reaction when you were like, yeah, we can get you on a co-host.
Honestly,
like that, you got to see my reaction.
Yes.
Anyway.
That was awesome. But, gosh, I have to think about that. I'm sure you've gotten this question like a lot, but what actually got you into voice acting?
Well, it's kind of a mixture of things because, and it's, and don't worry, no, I love talking, so I will never not tell the story. Being a little kid, I realized that I really, really loved, like the voices behind these cartoons that I watched. Ever since I realized that it was like ooh, that one's really good. I don't know if I've seen that one before.
That's an antagonist from Miraculous Ladybug.
I love that wig, man. That's awesome.
I edited the heck out of that because that was just a black wig I had lying around. That's edited.
It looks great though.
Oh, thank you. Yeah,
it looks fantastic.
Yeah, like that was one of the ones where I ran to my closet. I was like, I don't care if it looks good now. I'm gonna make it look good.
Looks
I'm gonna make
really
it look good right now. Thank you.
And the makeup, like the little music note on the face, and like the music note eyebrows, you nailed those.
Oh, thank
you. Very cool.
Yeah, that was fun. That was one of those where I literally was just, I have to do this now.
Yeah. I know. You're like, this design is way too cool. Like I can't turn this down.
Yeah.
Anyway, shoot. Oh, how I got into the voice acting? No, whenever I was younger, since I realized that it was like people behind these cartoon voices, that's when I was like, this is the most incredible job in the world. I must have it. But then being a little kid growing up in a place called Durant, Oklahoma, which is like 20 minutes from the Texas border. What's the closest thing? Dallas. Like, okay, we got like a movie theater. That's all we have really here.
Yeah.
A movie theater and a Walmart.
That's like literally exactly like where I live right now.
Yeah.
I understand.
Yeah, you get it then. And so growing up in that though, especially before the internet, saying that I wanted to voice act for cartoons sounded the same as like, I want to be a princess. Like, it just sounds so stupid. Like, don't, Christy, don't talk about that. You're embarrassing us. Like, let's pick something real, sweetie. And then my parents, they were always great. They never said that, but I never said anything because I heard myself and I'm like, no, that sounds really dumb, Christy. Because I was like, I was born in 87, and so the internet really didn't start like cooking until like 1999, and even then it wasn't at the level it is now. Like that's whenever I just started getting like instant messaging to my friends and stuff. But well before that, I was, watching cartoons, specifically stuff like the Animaniacs and like a lot of like Warner Brothers stuff that I really liked. And I was really inspired by Rob Paulsen, and he's like my all-time favorite voice actor. I love his book, like what I've read in his book. I love that. Nothing wrong with that. Hey, I just turned 34, so nothing wrong with like it's
I'm
a
the
number.
reversal of that, so
That's all good. But anyway, and so I started acting in like high school and stuff like that, and I realized like I really love this, but again, Durant, Oklahoma, where was I supposed to do anything with acting or even get started big enough so that I could go somewhere that's acting related? And so, but I still like it never left me. The bug never left me. And so, even though I like pursued communications, actually, like my day job is like I'm a radio host. And so even though like I pursued communications professionally initially, I still did have a theater minor. And so I took all these theater classes that I was like, I don't even care if I don't like ever use these. I want to have like acting classes and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then I took an ADR workshop. ADR is automated dialogue replacement. It's what dubbing is.
Okay.
It's you're just replacing the Japanese with the English, which is why it's called ADR. Right. And so ADR specific workshop, and it was held by Sonny Strait. And he's, by the way, a phenomenal guy. He's just so great. Like if you ever go to a con and have a chance to meet Sonny, he's a sweetheart and I love him. But anyway, yeah, he was holding an ADR workshop, and he like posted about it or something, and I was telling you I'm friends with Kristen McGuire. She called me and she was like, because I had like done like radio stuff down in Dallas for a little bit, which is how I knew her. And so she called me and she was like, hey, Sonny's having this ADR workshop, you should join in. And it was like $600, and I was just like, do I have that to spend on a workshop that I don't know if it's gonna like am I just doing it because like I want to? Am I doing it because like I like want to get? Why am I doing this? You know, I was like questioning my own motives behind it. And then my boyfriend was like, "You're dumb. Just take it." Like he is the straightest shooter ever. Like he will tell me just like straight out. He's just call me out like, you're being dumb right now. And he's like, if you don't have $600, you can borrow it from me and just pay me back. You're gonna take this workshop one way or another. And I was like, okay. And so I did, and I'm so glad that I did, because like a year and a half after that, I got a call from Sonny, and I was like, Sonny's calling. It's like a butt dial or something. And I was like, hello? Yeah. And he was like, oh, hey, I'm directing the show, and I was going to see if you were able to come in and, do like bit parts for it. And I was like on the phone, I was like, yeah, that'd be great. Awesome. Thank you so much for calling me in. I'd love to do that. Yeah, great. And then once I got off the phone, hit end, I was like walking through an outlet mall with my sister in like the middle of summer, and just like sobbing, crying, just like and she was like, what's wrong? And I'm just like, don't worry, it's good, I just can't talk right now. And she was like, okay, as long as it's good, just catch your breath and then tell me what's wrong. But it was really like that I had just found out that I was actually getting to be a professional voice actor. So what got me into it was watching stuff like Rocko's Modern Life and Real Monsters and Animaniacs and stuff. But what got me into it professionally was taking a workshop, and then Sonny actually remembering me from that workshop, and then from there, just taking acting lessons and stuff like that, and all the workshops that I can, auditioning my butt off, and that's kind of how I've like moved it along after that. Like I got my foot in the door, thankfully, and that's how I did it. And then after that, you have to like keep justifying, like, hey, like I can do this, either whether it be to others or yourself, it doesn't matter. I felt the need to justify it to myself, like, no, like I got invited into this space, and now I have to prove it to myself that I belong here. And like that was something that was like, no, like I got given an opportunity that I would be the stupidest person if I squandered this. And so I was like, okay, from here on out, this is something I'm going to take incredibly seriously. And I am not going to mess around with my profession. And that's what like really got me into like voice acting mode, where I'm like, okay, no, acting lessons, taking care of my voice, doing this, doing that. And that's like what kind of propelled me forward within it, was getting given that chance, and then deciding that chance comes up for so few people that it would be the dumbest move of my life to like waste that chance, that opportunity. And so my story in is not like anybody else's story in, which is why I always like to add a little asterisk to my story, because like my story in does not look like anybody else's. And so I never want people to get the you know, the idea that they can't do something just because they don't live near Dallas, or that they didn't start in exactly the way somebody else did, or they didn't start as early. Maybe they got their, like I started I started whenever I was like 28, I think 29. And you know, there are people who started at 18, and comparing myself to them is just going to, you know, it's not going to do anything. What I need to be doing, you know, with that sort of thing, and like what I, you know, I see people who have gotten in far earlier than I am, and they're really, really good. And I'm like, okay, I need to be that good. Kind of like you and the Kingdom Hearts cosplayers, where you're just like, no, I need to be this good. And one thing I will say though, to the both of you, if you ever do plan on like turning whatever you do into a career, depending on, you know, where you lay your focus and whether or not like, you know, you still have an opportunity to do it for yourself as well as also do it for money. It is something that I have not gotten tired of, thankfully, and I've not felt any burnout. So if there is an opportunity for you ever to get like a constant gig or something like that, and you're like, you know, you're able to do the things that you do in a professional sense, it is possible to do them without burning out, because every single moment that I get to spend in the booth is a golden moment that I just like never want to go away. So yeah, it is a possibility that, you know, you are, you know, if you ever did want to do it and professionally in some sense of the word, then there are ways to do it that you can still create that joy within yourself. So don't ever rule it out as a possibility.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. And I believe it. This isn't cosplay related, but my day job is I work for a publishing company. You might know Tokyo Pop.
Okay,
I'm their marketing person. I'm the assistant. And
that's awesome.
I love my job. I love my job so much, and I never get tired of it. I consider it a creative job because I do a lot of their graphics. I do stuff like that, but I understand it from that point of view as well, because that's my job. So I believe it, but it is good to have that perspective, because it's easy to get kind of like sink into that, like, okay, well, clearly I can't do this for a living. Like,
yeah, like wondering if you're actually cut out for it, you know. But yeah, no, it's there are, you know, ways that you can do the job and do it in a way that's on your terms, to the point that it still brings you joy and you don't feel like you're just, you know, slogging through something.
Exactly.
Because I still enjoy doing like auditions are really, really fun, just because like I have found out a lot of stuff that my voice can do through auditions. And I think that's where like my one of my creative outlets lies, is because like I enjoy getting to voice characters, but one of the coolest parts about voicing those characters is getting to find what that character sounds like. And so like in the booth, and I'm just recording my auditions from home, like for a Lulu, I look at this character and I'm like, all right, what does this little nasty child sound like? Yeah. And so I have to come up with this like little like high pitched like gremlin voice for her or whatever. And you still get to enjoy like the creativity of a lot of things like that. Like for instance, for me, it's all in auditions. Like that's whenever I get to just like throw spaghetti at the wall and see what sticks. It's like, I guess the closest voice actor equivalent to like being like, I have to do this character now, and like running to the, like, put your makeup on. Like if I see an audition where I'm just like, oh, and I'm like, I just like run to the closet. I'm like, gotta go, bye. Like I gotta audition for this character, because one of the things that I took a voiceover workshop with Tony Oliver, and one of the things he said, he's like, the best way to approach auditions is not that you didn't get the role, it's that you got to voice that character for even just the shortest amount of time. Maybe you didn't get to officially voice them, but you got to exist as this character for a short amount of time, which I know is probably part of the joy for you of cosplay, is you just get to exist as this character for a point in time.
Exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
even if it's confined to my bedroom/bathroom, it's still enjoyable.
It still feels
because
good.
Yeah. 'Cause I
Yeah.
mean, there's still outlets. There's TikTok, and I can like do whatever the heck I want to do on that app, which is pretty much anything. And there, you take photos, and you can do character expressions and that sort of thing, which I really like to do.
Yeah, and even if it's like stuff you don't even post, it's just like it has like, because it's like this almost like this rush of just like, yes, like I'm like, and maybe it is escapism of some sort or whatever, but it's just such a neat feeling.
Yeah, especially when I finish a makeup look and I look in the mirror and I like take it in, I'm like, that's me. And
That's
it's
exciting.
It's such a good feeling. Like I think that's why I cosplay, like a lot of it. Like I do it because like I get to do that and be like, oh, I did that. And then a part of it is also like going to the con floor and seeing people from the same like fandom and then being like, are you? And then you're like, are you? And then you're both like, oh my gosh, we're doing the thing. And then you like take a selfie together and then you become friends.
I love
it's like
that.
the best. I love it.
Oh, that's awesome. Yes. Like it's like, yeah, that's such a wonderful feeling. Like I can only imagine just like, and especially, the very few times that I have cosplayed, people recognizing what or who I am and like getting really excited to like take a picture is like so heartwarming and sweet to me. And like, I imagine like, I don't even cosplay that much. I've done it like maybe 3-ish times. But one of them was Dexter from Dexter's Lab. And and I had people like yelling across the convention, Dexter, and like wanting to take pictures with me, which I thought was really sweet. And I'm just like, oh man. And that's like such a fun thing of like knowing that you like brought somebody else happiness too, like through your work.
Exactly.
And you know, I've cosplayed, I think maybe let's see, I cosplayed. My first official cosplay at a convention was Natsu from Fairy Tail. I cosplayed as the main male character, I think it was Kyo from Cat Planet Cuties. And I think I did Ginji from God, I can't remember the name of the show. It's Stephen Fu's character, Genji, from I can't remember the name of the show now. I feel horrible at my brain farting.
If only we had a thing right in front of us that could have access any info we wanted. All right, was it?
No.
So Genji, and it is like I just type in Genji, and here's a Kakario, Bed and Breakfast for Spirits.
Oh, that's a fun title.
Yeah, I just found it.
And I was in a mask. I competed with the Kyo, but the problem with the Kyo one was I was dressed as Kyo in a cat spacesuit, which he only appears in like the last like 15 minutes of episode 12 of a 12-episode series.
So unless you watch to the very end, you don't
had no
see
idea
that.
who I was.
No.
But when I cosplayed as Natsu, that was my first one. And when you cosplay a new character for the first time, and I know that you both can relate to this, you worry, am I going to be recognizable? When I go out to a con floor, are people going to know who I'm
what
supposed
I worry
to
about
be?
is if my costume's going to stay together.
Honestly, yeah, there's a lot of worries that happen when you step out of your hotel room or whatever. You're like, oh God,
like,
it's just anxiety.
Can I walk in this? I didn't test that out.
Like, is the Velcro going to stay? Should I have used Velcro?
That was the Genji cosplay. That for me, that was the Genji cosplay. Because we were in Anime Boston's Masquerade where my wife cosplayed Ranmaru and I was Genji. And I had 9 tails.
Oh my God.
Oh man.
How did you do that?
We stuffed him with polyfill, which is not lightweight. My tails weighed 14 pounds. And I had to walk because our hotel was about a 5-minute walk from the convention center. And so I'm walking down the street of Boston in this outfit.
Oh my gosh.
And we had like fishing wire, the fishing wire holding the tails in place. And
that's pretty awesome.
My wife made everything by hand. I helped sewing with the tails a little bit, but she made everything all the way down to the tabi socks. Like the only thing that she didn't make was the platform, the little platform shoes that you see in those older, the older time frame animes. But it was a lot of fun to do that. It just, like, as you said, you have the worry, are these going to stay up? It took three people to get those tails on me.
Oh, so you had handlers. You had 3 handlers.
Yeah.
Well, we were lucky to that, 2 of them were people that we were sharing rooms with.
Yeah.
So, and I was only in it for maybe 2 hours the entire weekend because we ended up, my wife was having some health issues. So it was like, get in the costumes, go for the judging. We didn't even walk across the stage because the day that, we were supposed to walk across the stage, our babysitter flaked out on us. So we had to leave the convention early to go pick our daughter up. So my wife missed like a day and a half of the convention.
Oh, man. Man, that stinks.
Yeah.
And that was our last Anime Boston. So it's like next year, it's like, okay, 2020, we, after 5 years of trying, finally gotten approved as press. COVID hit mainstream like 2 weeks before Anime Boston, and they canceled. They were the first major con to cancel because of it. And then 2021, they didn't have it again. So it's like, and 2021 would have been my birthday, would have been Anime Boston. So we're like, okay, they moved it to May next year. We're still having a birthday bash because one of the people that we're sharing a hotel room with shares my exact birthday month and year.
So you got
same day and month.
Yeah,
so
you
it's
have
like
to.
Thursday we're having cake to celebrate our birthdays, even though it's a month after our birthday.
You got to do what you got to do.
You'll have your cake and eat it too.
And we're still going to be at Anime Boston, and we're still going to have fun. We already have a room booked and everything. I'm going to apply for press again this year. No guarantees, but fingers crossed, because it's a convention that we've attended. If you don't count COVID, I think we've gone like 6 of the last 7 years.
That's awesome. Well, I hope that you're able to be a media guest to that again. That'll be really nice.
And as I've said before, I have a long list of names of people I want to get to conventions because I have friends who are promoters of local conventions, and I've put your name out to a couple of them, Christy.
Oh, thank you. Jeez. Sorry, somebody just ran by my apartment and it like shook the whole building because they're like I live on the 2nd story, and so they're like running down the
running down the hall.
Well, it's not the hall; it's the walkway, whatever you would call it. No, I live in like motel style apartments where like my door just faces the parking lot. Sorry, I just totally derailed everything. That just startled me so bad. I was just like not expecting somebody to just like rattle the whole apartment by running down the like walkway area.
I know what it's like, 'cause even with headphones on, sometimes I'll hear the commotion going on outside, and it's like, we're a block and a half away from train tracks, so you may hear a train whistle during the show. You'll the street, one of the main roads through the city, is right behind me, so you'll hear sirens of police and ambulance going by from time to time, and it's like, what's going on out there? Wait, what were we talking about? Plus, I suffer from shiny object syndrome really, really bad, which is why I don't have windows by me anymore. If you listen to like some of my early shows, like when I lived in Massachusetts on the Cape, I had a window right beside the computer, and I would look out and be like, oh, look, there's a squirrel climbing the tree. It just completely like forgetting what was going on.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I'm like, I will just space out because I'm like, oh, my cat's doing something. No, yeah, I totally feel you on that. My attention span. Like if I'm at the radio station, I like have to get stuff done. I just like shut my office door and I tell my coworkers, I'm like, hey, I'm like gonna be working with headphones on, because like whenever I'm not doing like on-air stuff, I'm like doing promotions director stuff, which is basically like anything you see the radio station like giving away or anything like that, then like I'm in charge of like getting all that stuff together and making sure everything ticks along just nicely. And so anyway, I do that, but like whenever I have a lot to do, holy moly, it's like I just have to shut my door and tell my coworkers, like, hey, I have headphones on, so if you need to come in, just come in. But like for the most part, I just need to not look at anything but my computer today.
Yeah.
Because otherwise it's just gonna be like I'm gonna be distracted by 90 different things. And luckily
Yeah.
my anti-anxiety medication helps with that just a little bit because it like blocks out like over here and over here and over here and over
Mhm.
here. And like I'm fortunately able to like take that, but it only, it only does so much. I just have a short attention span.
Same.
Yes,
No, I
ma'am.
feel that.
I don't know if you heard Dottie, but yeah, she
I
chimed in too.
did. She was like, me
I
too.
did.
She's a very vocal cat.
I don't my cats are not very vocal normally, except like Ainz, the orange one that you saw earlier, Christy. He loves to purr, and he purrs really, really loud. Like I don't think I've ever had a cat that purrs as loud as he does.
No.
That's cute.
And Haru, which has not made an appearance tonight. I'm not even sure where she's at. She is a what do they call that? She's like the multicolored black and brown.
No, Calico.
Calico. They have like there's a
Brindle?
specific. Torty.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
She's a Torty. And you didn't get to see. I don't think you got to see, but this is Ainz.
Oh, cute.
Yeah, he's a little lion.
Is that a bow tie?
Yeah, my daughter picked out his collar and had a bow tie on there.
I love that.
And that's the combination of the two of them. That's Haru and Ainz. And yes, we are weebs who name our animals after anime characters.
Oh, of course, yeah.
And we named our kids after anime characters as well, because we have my wife's oldest daughter is named Winry after Winry Rockbell from Full Metal.
Mhm.
And our youngest daughter is named Eevee, of course, after Pokemon.
I love that.
And we decided to name her Eevee because, like in Pokemon, where an Eevee could evolve into 8 different evolutions, it's like that just means she can grow up to be whatever she wants to be. She's not limited.
That's really sweet.
That is sweet. I love that.
And it's been so much fun tonight to have you guys on, and I thank both of you for taking the time to come on and hang out with us tonight.
Oh yeah, thank you for
Yeah, of
having me.
course.
This has been great.
Yeah, I've had a wonderful time. So thank you for having me on. I really appreciate it. And having me on as a guest so I can like ask. I know that I'm going to get off of here and like think of more questions like, darn, I should have asked. But I'm glad that I got to like pick your brain about like just the process that you do with your cosplays and stuff like that. And
Yeah.
Yeah,
and honestly, like if you want to just like DM on Instagram, I'd be more than happy to just chat anytime.
Same, yeah. If you ever have any questions about voice acting or anything like that, or just wanted to like chat and be like, yo,
Honestly,
I worked on this
yeah.
costume the other day and it was like either it didn't go well at all or it totally slapped. Like, yeah, if you ever just want to like chat, just hit me up. That's totally fine.
Yeah.
And I feel bad because I hardly ever use Instagram. I'm a Facebook person. That's what the easiest thing that like I've used it enough. I understand it. I'm computer stupid. So it's like I don't understand Twitter and Instagram and all this stuff. It's like I have it. I kind of use it, but I'm sure I don't use it to its fullest potential.
It changes literally all the time. Like I cannot blame you. Like as someone who works for marketing for a company, I'm like I don't even know how people stay on top of all this stuff because there's also
I have to
and all
like
the algorithms.
Yeah, I manage 2. Like I just focus mostly on my Twitter and on my Instagram, and primarily on my Twitter. Like my Instagram, like I posted a lot of like I don't know. My Twitter is like where I put all my like announcements and like anime stuff, and my Instagram is more just like me. And so they're like wildly different accounts. But yeah, like I'm like never on Facebook or anything like that. Like those are the only 2 that I'm just like, I have the brain power to do these 2. And the others I'm like, I can't even like manage these right now.
That's how I am with Twitter. Like I cannot get a Twitter. I'm like, I will be pushed over the edge if I get an account on Twitter.
Right. Because you're having to do like Instagram and TikTok and stuff. Yeah. Yeah.
It's enough. And I like just the nature of Twitter with like, people tend to state their opinion every couple of minutes and such, and I don't know. It's just that scares me.
I totally understand. Twitter can be a really brutal place sometimes. And luckily that's one thing I have encountered, is that like almost every interaction up to this point, save for like maybe one or two on Twitter, has been really great. Like the fans on Twitter are really, really wonderful, and I like couldn't ask for a better fan base, you know.
That's awesome.
They're phenomenal. I just like the fact that I have one fan, let alone like, you know, the ones that I do on Twitter. Thank you.
The more I hear your work, and like I said, going through like Anime News Network, which usually does a really good job at keeping up with roles.
Yeah, they're awesome.
Actors. And it's like, oh, you did this character. Like I just realized tonight you were in Senran Kaguya. And I was like, oh, I remember. I didn't know she was Renka in that because I watched that.
Yeah, Senran Kaguya. I was Renka in that one. And
the ironic thing is, I almost pulled a Senran Kaguya figure out if I had known it ahead of time, because I had two of them. God, what were it was like two of the main five girls. It was the one that was the white haired chick who had the umbrella.
I don't remember any of them.
And then I had the main character. It was Bryn April and Felicia Angel's characters.
Gotcha.
That. So, and there's a whole story behind that, which I can go into at another time. And, but I was like, I haven't pulled those out yet. And I was like, well, I haven't pulled out, this one either. I was like, let's go with Albedo. Because one thing if, like you said, Kate, you went back through some of our old shows and you see, we put a figure up because I figured that's better to look at than me. So
why not both?
Yeah,
that's why I'm off to the side,
Yeah, I will admit, I never really like collected any kind of like anime stuff or anything like that. But whenever I started collecting my stuff, like, and it's a voice actor thing. Every voice actor has like a vanity shelf of like figures of characters they voiced and stuff. Like,
that's so cool.
It's mind blowing that I have any merchandise of any character I voiced, and so now I have like a vanity figure like set at my office and stuff like that, and like I have like little keychains of characters I voiced and whatnot. And I never collected any of that until I started voicing these characters, and then now I'm like, I must have all of mine.
It's almost like a physical scrapbook. Like it's all the stuff you've accomplished.
Yes, that's like what I need to start calling it, because I never knew what to call it, but it is. It's like a physical scrapbook.
Yeah.
Yes, that's exactly what it feels like. It's like I'm getting to like have these like moments of like, perfect, thank you. Well, I'm going to use that from now on, and I will always credit you for that. So thank you.
Awesome.
I'm like, yeah, I have a perfect name for this, and you're never going to guess where I heard it.
You're never going to guess. That's awesome.
For our viewers out there, thank you guys so much for tuning in. I know we got about 15 minutes left on the show, but we want to let everybody know next week we have another amazing guest that's going to be joining us. Our old friend Tico Flores Kyle. He is a stuntman and martial artist.
Oh, that's cool.
Is going to be joining us next week. It's been a while since we've talked with him. We met him 6 years ago at Saratoga Comic-Con, or at the time it was ChaseCon. Talked with him randomly in the parking lot, not realizing he was one of the featured guests at the convention. It was the first con we ever vended as for my wife as an artist, for me as a podcaster, and it was also the first ever convention appearance for voice actress Michaela Krantz.
Oh, really? Okay.
We introduced her to Sam, and he got her to up there to attend the convention. Well, I say up there; they're like 2 hours south of me, but. And so we have Tico joining us, and then December 18th, a special Saturday show. We're calling it a voice actor roundtable, but so far, Christy's the only one who has confirmed. A lot of people are going to be doing holiday travel, so we might just have Christy, which will be great because we can talk to Christy about the work that she does, and I can fanboy all over again.
Yeah, no, I'm happy to join you anytime. It's always fun to get to talk to you.
And then we take our holiday break, December 26th and January 2nd. We're taking 2 weeks off, as we do every year for Christmas and New Year's. Gives us a chance to recharge our batteries, focus on getting into the new year with hopefully bigger and better things. And January 9th, we have Lainey Maloney, a very talented cosplayer who we met at Saratoga Comic-Con a couple weeks ago. She was cosplaying as Judy Hopps.
Oh, from
Zootopia.
Yes, thank you. Name was escaping me. Aw.
Yeah.
So she
I
will
can't
be
see it
our
well, but
guest.
that's adorable.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's bad when it's a picture on the phone with the glare and stuff. But she will be our guest on January 9th. We have the rest of the month of January open. We are going to start looking at booking guests here for January and February soon. So get your suggestions out there if you have people you want us to bring on the show. And we don't limit it to the voice actors. We want the cosplayers. We want artists. We want creators, comic creators. If you can find them at an anime or comic convention, we would love to have them on the show. If they work, like we were talking earlier, Christy, if you work in sound engineer or anything like that behind the scenes of making these animes that a lot of us love so much, we want to have you on the show as well. We want you to get the appreciation you deserve for the hard work that you do.
There's one at Funimation, and I call him Magic Ricky, because during the show Citrus, he always made my reeds fit the flaps, and I was really thankful for that, because Matsuri was in my upper register, and so there was a recording session where we'd been going for 4.5 hours almost, and doing that much work in a higher register really makes your diaphragms you have to have really good control over it. But even after so long of a session, it's still pitching up your voice. You can only do it so much before you're just okay, I'm really tired. And so by the end of that, I was just fingers crossed, okay, if that read was good, I hope it fit the mouth movements. But Magic Ricky, man, he could always make it fit. So props to him.
And Kit, you said that you do marketing for, was it Tokyo Pop?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
What is Tokyo Pop for those for our listeners out there who may not know who Tokyo Pop is?
It's a manga publishing company. And it's been around for, 30
forever.
years.
Yeah. I because I don't even read a ton of manga or anything like that. I read Junji Ito and that's about it.
Yeah.
But I even know what Tokyo Pop was, and I don't follow the manga scene even that much. So it's that speaks to how large that is,
Yeah, a lot of people they kind of died down a little bit within the past couple of years, but yeah, a lot of people know what Tokyo Pop is. It's so interesting, working that job and learning who does and who doesn't, what demographics those fit. It's
I didn't
really
even think
cool.
about that. Yeah.
And I brought it up because I was looking in the chat. We've had some new people who came through the chat room. Some who have never been to a Comic-Con or an Anime Con before. Somebody who said Timothy said that the show stumbled across this in his recommendations and thought he'd check it out.
Oh, nice.
Oh, cool.
So getting some new faces through to be a part of it, I want to make sure that everybody gets a chance to know who you are. And like we said, Kate, with you being in the marketing, feel free to promote whatever you want on the show. That's what we're here for.
I mean, I've dropped Tokyo Pop a couple times, so woohoo, go Tokyo Pop.
Yeah. You can go back to work and be like, I was on a podcast and I promoted us. Can I get a little bonus bump or something?
Honestly.
Yeah. Christmas is coming up, buddy.
Yeah. You might enjoy that. You might want to know a little bit more about that.
I mean, we're always looking for people to help back us if they want to work with them.
Hey, I'll mention it. Sure.
Because we're always looking for people. I love promoting people. I love to showcase. As you found out tonight, I'm not sure exactly how many pictures of your work I've put up there, but
a lot.
I wanted to promote the work that you do because you deserve the attention, you deserve the admiration and the love from your fans.
Thank you. I appreciate that a lot.
And much like with Christy, with Dragon Maid, we started off talking Dragon Maid, then we went into some other animes, and I forget, we derailed off onto a few different topics.
Oh yeah,
for that
like
show,
you do.
But it was a lot of fun, and I know that when I finally get a chance to meet you in person, I already can think of 2 characters I want signed prints from you for. So
Okay, wonderful. Which 2 characters?
Ilulu and Rose.
All right, so right now I've got 1 Ilulu print out and 1 in the works, and I'm still trying to find an artist that's taking commissions that I feel like can like capture Rose. And so I'm still working on getting prints of Rose, but once I find the right artist and like they're taking commissions, then I'm just like, yes, this is the one. I was so fortunate to find the ones that I did for Ilulu. They both did fantastic jobs. One's still in the making and I haven't like put it out there yet. But yes, if I'm ever at a con near you and you come to the con or whatever, like I will totally like, heck, I mean, seriously though, at this point, like you're not gonna pay for prints from me. You're not gonna buy them. So like I will give them. Like you're not gonna be paying for those. So I appreciate you just having me on and everything. So if you ever see me at a con, you got 2 free prints coming your way.
I appreciate that, and last week we had Giovanni Cruz on the show with us, or 2 weeks ago we had Giovanni Cruz on the show, and she said the same thing. She's like, I would just send you a print of her character from Masha Myresh, from Show by Rock, Masha Myresh. It's like, I'm not doing this for the free stuff because I have a very good understanding that these conventions, selling the prints is one way that you make a living, because being a voice actor, you get paid for studio time and that's it. You don't get royalties for how popular a show becomes. You make your money off of convention appearances, the autographs that you sign and stuff like that. So I never look for a free autograph.
Well, that's why I offered it, because I knew you weren't looking for one.
It's always humbling when it's like that. It's like, I don't want you to think that I'm taking advantage.
No, I never did. That's why I offered. I was like, oh, he's like totally supportive of the arts, and like if I had any indication, like any inclination that you were like trying to like fish for a free anything from me, then like I just would have been like, cool. Whenever you see me, I'll sell you a print. But no, like, like I never got the indication that you were, trying to use me for a free prints or anything like that. Of course
I
not,
truly love the work that you have done.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
The more of the work that I have seen that you were in, and like going through Anime News Network, it's like, she was in this and she did this. Like I said, Ilulu is my favorite character in Dragon Maid. Rose is my favorite character in Combatants. And
honestly, same. And not just for biased reasons. Like, I just love little Gremlin characters. They're so funny.
And if you want to check out the work that my wife has done, you can I can send you a link to her Facebook page so you can see some of the work. And I think she's open for commissions. She was taking a little bit of a break from art just because with the COVID, no cons, the burnout, things like that. But I'm sure that she would be open for a commission.
Sweet. Yeah. Send me your Facebook.
Does she do like traditional or digital?
She does traditional, she does digital, she does some stenciling, she's done watercolor, she's done canvas, she does a bunch of different things.
Oh, wow.
That's awesome. Yeah, send me a link to her Facebook page.
Like I said, our little logo in the top corner there is her artwork.
Oh, I see.
Mm-hmm.
And she's...
Sorry, I don't have my glasses on.
Where is it?
It's so bad. I was in the booth the other day and I was like, okay, I'm really sorry, because it was like actually an in-studio session, one of the ones that because I just happened to be in Dallas at the time, and I was like, I'm so sorry. I was like, I'm wearing my glasses, but can you like increase the Google Docs size and also like scroll up so I can see over the pop filter, because not only am I blind, I'm short, and I felt really bad about it because I'm like 5'1", and so I'm like 5'1", and can like trying to look over the pop filter at these monitors that are like far taller than I am. Because the way they have it set up is like bam and bam.
Oh, I love that.
That is it. That is one of the pieces that my wife had done.
Aww.
Is that charcoal?
I think that was Chi from Chi's Sweet Home.
Oh, I mean like
no, like the medium.
That she used.
I think that was I think just pencil. It was grayscale with some silver marker in the background.
Mm.
Aww. That's cute.
And let's see if I can find another one of the good ones here. And she's really good with portraits and things like that. Animals are one of her fortes. Inktober 2017, this was a fox she drew for that.
Oh wow, so much detail.
Oh wow, yeah. The line art's really good.
Yeah. It's really pretty.
And let's see if I can find one of her anime characters that she did, because she did. We got a MOA sign from Monica Rial from Show by Rock, and she got another print sign from Jade Saxton of, I think it was Un from Show by Rock as well. Some of these things aren't loading.
It happens.
It happens.
A
little keychain that she did of Kirara from Inuyasha.
Aww.
Oh, that's cute.
Not gonna lie, I love going on Etsy and buying from independent artists there. That's another cool part that, like, in voice acting, like, part of that, like what you were saying, is that scrapbook gets to involve other artists too, which is really cool. Because I'll go and like buy like Etsy like keychains and stuff like that of like, and like stickers that people have drawn and stuff, and so like, and I get to commission other artists too, so it's really cool that like through my job I also get to like pay other artists as well, which is really exciting. Like I love getting to do that, because I don't know. My boyfriend's a graphic designer and a studio artist. I say he's a graphic designer first, just because like that's like his like main thing. But I mean, honestly, he sells himself short. He could work as an illustrator any day he wanted to. He's so good. But he shoot, now I forgot where I was going with this. But no, he's a graphic designer, and so like, I'm fully into like, supporting the arts and stuff like that of just like independent artists, because I know I've seen firsthand how important it is to him, and so that like makes me, that like motivates me to want to do it even more. It's just like support as many indie artists as I possibly can.
Yeah, I have a lot of friends who are shop owners, and I love going on Etsy and just like, okay, this is what I'm going to purchase for Christmas, and it's just going to be on Etsy, and it's like the best.
Yes.
And this was another piece that was Shippo and Kirara that she did.
Oh, that's cute.
And that I think was Marker.
Shippo's adorable.
But she does a lot of different mediums. She likes to play around and experiment with a lot of different stuff. So I know she wants to get back into it. And Kate, sometimes the creativity just isn't there, and you need to recharge. Like you said, it's always good to take that step back for however long. Like, she's going to probably take the next year or plus off from vending conventions just because she wants to have new stuff when we go back.
Well, and sometimes you just have to kind of like remove yourself from it and have other things going on that are like outside of it, because like I voice act and I love it. I love it so much. But I know that if my whole life is voice acting, then like that's gonna like lead to me hating it. And so that's
a good tip.
And so like that's why like during COVID, like I picked up skating. Like, because I was like a rink skater before that, but obviously the rinks closed, and I just started going outside and skating and doing like outdoor skating and stuff. I'm like, now I'm like never going back to the rink. But like, yeah, like during COVID though, like I found that all I had was my job at that time, because I couldn't go out, I couldn't do anything, I couldn't see my friends, we couldn't have board game nights or anything like that. And so I had to like do something. And so I just chose like, all right, you know what? I'm just going to keep skating, except I'm going to put on my outdoor wheels and go outside. And it was fun getting to find that, because now I just like absolutely love it. I never want to go back indoors skating.
I love that.
Yeah.
It's like a niche hobby, but like it sounds super enjoyable.
Oh, thanks you. Yeah, it really is. It's super fun. I just, I'm all about the pizzazz. I actually just sewed EL wire onto my skating backpack. Do you know what EL wire is?
I don't.
Oh man, hold on, I gotta go get it.
Okay, yeah.
And this was the piece I was telling you about, the Un from Show by Rock. We went and met Jade Saxton at Kineticon one year, gave Jade a copy of it, and Jade signed a copy of this for us.
I love the background of it. I like how it matches the colors super well.
Oh yeah.
So that's some of her digital stuff.
I
Yeah,
gotcha.
that's awesome.
So EL wire is like this shoelace stuff that you just like you can attach to your stuff.
Mhm.
And I mean you can do and it like here.
Mark's leaning in. I'm like squinting. I'm like, oh.
Yeah, it
Oh,
lights up. So
Oh,
like,
that's cool.
Oh wow, yeah.
yeah, so I just sewed a bunch of EL wire on my backpack here. So whenever I go skating at night, people won't, miss
Oh,
me.
that's really smart. That's cool.
Thanks. Yeah, and they just run on rechargeable batteries, and so
Yeah.
they've got like a little battery pack in here. But yeah, so like whenever the sun goes down at like 5, then I can
4:30,
still
yeah.
keep skating. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can still keep skating. Because otherwise, I'm just like stuck in the dark. And so, yeah,
Mhm.
and I'm all about customization. And so there's that. And I have like a paint job on my skates and stuff like that.
Oh,
So
cool. Yeah.
yeah, it's something that I've really grown to like love doing. I just have to be really careful because obviously don't want to bust out my mouth or anything like that.
Yeah. No, of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
Which I
Especially
almost
at night.
did. Yeah. I do like the ramps and stuff out there. And so like one time I jumped on one and I didn't land just right, and my wrist guard got like hung on my shirt or something.
Oh.
And so I caught my fall with like one wrist and my face. And
Oh.
right here, I've got a terrible scar and a chipped tooth. And I was like, all right, that's like all I needed as a reminder of like, take care of the moneymaker, Christy. Like, this is the mouth and the tongue. Like, if you hurt that, your job will change forever. And so, I have to be really, really careful about that. But yeah, like, I still love doing it. And the scariest part was just going back there after having that horrible like accident or whatever.
Yeah, I bet.
But it is a really fun hobby. It's super fun and it keeps me physically active and stuff. So I like that.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's fun.
And we want to thank Kit and Christy for joining us tonight. It has been an amazing night. I've had so much fun chatting with you both. Before we run out of time officially, I want to give both of you a chance to share your social media where people can find your work, where they can find you. Kit, since you're our guest of honor, why don't you go first?
Sure. I'm mainly active on my Instagram and my TikTok, and both of those platforms go under the username of KittumCause, KITTUMCOS.
And Christy.
I'm terrible at branding. So my Instagram is at let's LATZ_shake, which, in case you're wondering, yes, it is after the No More Heroes character. I love No More Heroes so freaking much that that was one of the other 2 cosplays I've done was Bad Girl from No More Heroes, way back in the day. But anyway, yeah, I'm that on Instagram, and on Twitter I'm at grandpa_trout. That one's also a long story. Don't worry about it. Grandpa_trout. It's what people know me as now, so I can't change it. I'm forever locked in as Grandpa Trout. So
People just call you Grandpa?
yeah, like I'm actually on Snapchat as Grandpa, and so like whenever the filters come up, it's like Grandpa's big day, and I'm like,
Oh my god.
so everything is like Grandpa Cam, like because it'll like
I love that.
whatever you have your name listed as on Snapchat, that's what the filters will show up on, and so mine just says Grandpa Cam and like Grandpa in the city, like.
Thank God, honestly. I love that.
Yeah, it'll never change. I cannot like stop laughing at the one filter that was just like Grandpa Cam. Like that's the great. Like I almost want to change my Twitter handle to Grandpa Cam. Like that would be even
Oh my
creepier.
gosh. Grandpa Trout is pretty good though. I don't know.
Thanks, I love it.
Now people are going to bring Christy artwork of trout. You know, she's going to get a lot of fish artwork.
I would
because-
laugh
It's like a really
so hard
old
at that.
trout with like a cane.
Yes. No, okay, if it hasn't become very apparent, I love absolutely ridiculous stuff. And so, like, that's why I have, like, nothing but, like, tattoos of bugs and stuff all over me, is because this is,
Ooh,
like,
that's cool.
thanks, yeah, this is my most recent one. It's a little, cinnamon roll with a praying mantis on it.
I saw that on your Instagram.
Yeah,
Cool.
yeah. And that's like what the rest of my arm is too up here, is I'm just like finishing that out. But like, no, I love like gross stuff. And so like, yeah, I like, that's why I love like Ilulu and stuff like that. So if people just like gave me a picture of an old trout, that would be the funniest thing I've ever seen. And I would frame it immediately. It would be framed in my house. I would love that.
That is really funny, and in my head, I'm thinking, don't give the husband of an artist ideas like that, because I was on a Discord chat, and somebody said something about a Bob Ross hamster, and
Okay.
I jokingly told my wife, and I'm trying to find the picture of it.
While you're doing that, check this out. Don't laugh about how dirty my house is, but over there, you can see on the wall, it's hard to tell because the lamp, but it's like, there's like a melting Garfield that my boyfriend painted.
Oh,
like-
I can't see it.
Oh man, I'll send you a picture later on Instagram.
Yeah.
Like, he just, oh my gosh.
I don't know what I was expecting, but it was not that.
Yes. But yeah, like I love like really goofy art, and so he drew like a melting Garfield, and like there's one that's like reproducing eyeballs. It's really gross. I love it.
Ooh, it's like unsettling, but not like horrifying.
Yeah. He does a lot of like ew art, which I love.
Yeah. Like, ooh, interesting. I kind of like it. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm like, there are so many times where I've told him, I'm like, I hate this, but I really like it. I just hate it.
So this is disgusting.
Like, got
I
some sort
love
of like
it.
visceral reaction out of me.
Yeah.
I hope you know that I really hate this.
But in
And
the
that's
best
a good
way.
thing.
Yes.
And that was the Bob Ross hamster that my wife had drawn, just because somebody randomly said it in a Discord chat, and I'm like,
Well, yeah,
don't
now
do
you
that.
have to.
Now you have
so
to.
like, yeah, you gotta.
That's how it goes.
Don't make the rules.
I hope everybody tuning in enjoyed the show tonight. We had a lot of fun. Like I said, next week we've got stuntman and martial artist Tico Flores Kyle is going to be joining us. It's going to be fun reconnecting with him. Of course, our last show of 2021 is going to be our voice actor roundtable Christmas special featuring Christy Rothrock. We get to welcome her back to the show, and so excited. You know, we love chatting with you, Christy, as you know. I have become a big fan of yours, and it's
I
always an
appreciate
honor
that.
when you can come on the show. I look forward to when we can meet each other in person, and hopefully if
happen
that
one day.
happens, we can hang out outside of con and just be weird together.
For sure, dude. Like, if I'm ever at a con in like an area near you or anything like that, let's get dinner together or something.
That would be amazing and an honor, and definitely, Kit. Thank you again so much for joining us. I know you've had a very crazy week.
It's been a lot. No, but
I didn't
I'm
want to
so
pry,
happy.
but I hope everything's okay.
Oh yeah, it was a business trip, super last minute. My boss wanted us to get together. I got to meet him for the first time in LA. That's where Tokyo Pop's based out of. So
killer.
I flew out Wednesday and came back last night at 11 p.m. So it was just
Gosh.
like one after the, but nothing bad.
Okay,
It was just
good,
a
good.
lot.
Yeah. He had mentioned that, and I was like, oh, I don't want to ask, but I hope everything's okay.
No,
Like,
it's okay. Yeah,
okay,
it's just
good.
one after the other,
Mhm. Yeah. No, I actually flew in just on Wednesday, and like they messaged me and they're like, hey, can you record on Thursday and on Friday? And I'm like, yeah, I just got back with it. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, sure, yeah, okay.
Yeah. And then I have to do recording again tomorrow, which again, don't get me wrong, I'm in love with every second
Mhm.
of it, but I haven't really had a chance to breathe until like just recently, like
Mhm.
because like ever since Wednesday I've been going, so I feel you
Yes.
on that. Yeah.
Yes.
'Cause
Yep,
you're just
and
like, I
then,
am scraping the barrel on this.
Yeah, and then I've got a Holiday Matsuria convention in Florida in a week and a half, 2 weeks, and I got a crunch for that too, so I'm just
Oh
like
gosh.
going.
You're like, well, no time to stop. Sleeps for the
Just gotta keep
dead.
going. Yeah.
Once again, thank you to everybody for tuning in tonight. Thank you to our sponsors, HomecircleMedia.com, KC Fox, and of course Darren's Landscaping out in the Raleigh, North Carolina area. Tune in next week. We're going to have more fun. If you haven't done so, if you're new here, hit that subscribe button. Help us hit the 200 subscriber mark because we want to give away a chance for one of our lucky subscribers to sit in the guest co-host seat that Christy has been keeping warm tonight for a future voice actor interview. It's going to be a lot of fun once we hit that. Big thank you to Christy and Kit for joining us. Until next week, stay safe. Have a wonderful week. Keep watching the anime. Keep supporting your independent artists and all the amazing content creators out there. Have a wonderful week. And this has been Animazing Radio right